Hey guys, it's Becky with Design Bundles, and I am super excited today to tell you how to make a seamless pattern inside Silhouette Studio. Now, I know there are a ton of software choices out there for you, but I'm always going on and on about how robust Silhouette Studio is as a software for your cutting machine, okay? And the fact that you can even create a seamless pattern is super exciting for me. Now, I do have the business edition of Silhouette Studio, so at least a few of the features such as saving as a JPEG or PNG, that is something that you will need the business edition upgrade for. But, that's something you can work yourself up to if you're not there already. So let's go ahead and get started, and we will teach you all about seamless patterns.
Okay, so we are in Silhouette Studio. And if you haven't noticed, I did already import a whole bunch of clip art. Now I got this clip art from designbundles.net, and I like to buy them in sets like this, that way they all coordinate. Okay, so they just came over at a larger size than what I actually needed, so I'm going to shrink them down. And also, don't feel like you have to have this much clip art. I kind of overdo it on the clip art a little bit because I know that as I'm putting them together, there will be some that I like and some that I take out. So that's completely fine. I just like to have more options. Now, let's talk about page setup. I set mine to no machine, no cutting mat, and the medium size says custom, but it's just a 12 by 12. Okay. Now, we are making a seamless pattern. So what that means is that we're going to create a tile that when when they're butted up side by side, all of the clip art goes together seamlessly. Okay, and that'll make more sense. I'll show you how to actually test that out. But the first thing that I want to tell you is you really need to have a solid understanding of your modify panel, which is over here, because what we're going to be using a lot is crop. Okay, and then another thing that will really help a lot, and it'll help you follow this video more, is a shortcut that I use on the duplicate panel. And it is, or I guess it's the replicate panel, but it's the duplicate feature. And it's whatever clip art I have clicked on, I can control right or left or up or down. Okay, just control and one of the directional arrows on my keyboard, and that will create a duplicate exactly to the right. Now, you may be asking why that's important, and that's because when I need to replace the clip art, I can go back and control left, and it'll put that original clip art right back where it belongs. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I like to start with my bigger pieces first, which of course makes sense. So like this is probably my favorite right here, this little monster cake. Love it to pieces. And I really love this ice cream cone here. So we're just going to start off by positioning those. Now, pay attention to your colors, because to have this balance out fairly seamlessly, you want an even balance of your colors, or at least that's one of my goals, okay? So you can enlarge them as you go. This is not set in stone. This is just a, hey, this is what I do. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Oops, too large. I really love this spider candy. And let's see, now we're kind of getting to the edges. So I want, here, let's put this guy down here. We can make him a little bigger. And we will go ahead and have this one hang off the edge over here. Okay, so let's see, let's move that guy up. You have to remember that what's over here is going to also come in over here. So that might also create an imbalance for our pink. So we might be moving that lollipop there. And let's see, let's get some more green. We actually need some green over here. Let's see, let's move this guy. Let's put some green up here. And of course you can rotate them, you can do whatever you need to do. And what else do we have? Now remember, this guy is going to come over here, so that's not really a blank space. Let's do our spider cotton candy. Let's do our spider cotton candy up there. And we will come back in and probably use some of these candy corn to fill that in. So, all right, let's start with what we have. Move all the rest of these out of the way. We don't want to get them confused with anything. And I'm going to use my draw a rectangle. And I want to draw a rectangle that is at least the same height as my 12 by 12 square here. And I'm going to use my align tool. I'm going to align that exactly to the left. Okay, so if this happens to be over here, that's fine. Align it to the left and it will pop right over there on the left side of your page. Now I'm going to use my shortcut, Control Left, and that gives me a duplicate of that rectangle. And I'm going to do the same thing with my little beetle shish kebab, Control Left. Okay, now I'm going to click on my original shish kebab. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and select my rectangle. So then I'm going to come over here to crop. That's in your modify panel, and see how it cropped down what's hanging outside of the page. Now I'm coming back to align, and instead I'm going to send this over to the right hand side. Okay, now if I take my original beetle shish kebab, I'm going to put him back in place by using that same duplicate. All right, now we can get rid of that one. We don't need that one anymore. Now it's important that you do not move these two after you've put them in position. Very important, okay? So I don't like how close that is, so I will just straighten that back out. All right, now let's do the same over here with our brain cupcake, right? So I'm just going to move this over to the right-hand side, Control Right to get my duplicate. Same thing here, Control Right. Now I'm going to select my original brain cupcake and this duplicate rectangle, crop, and then send that over to the left-hand side. Now let's put the brain back in place. There we go. So we've done those two. Now let's talk about this guy up here at the top. So we will just rotate 90 degrees, center and top. Okay, basically all I did was I moved that rectangle around so that it fits up at the top. And let me scroll up a little bit so that we can see. I'm going to use Control Up to give me that duplicate there, and the same thing, Control Up. Now if I select my spider cotton candy and my outside rectangle, crop these down, and then send that bad boy down here to the bottom and put my original cotton candy back. All right, so now I can reposition this. It looks like a Jolly Rancher to me, but just the little monster eye candy, right? Now, I'm looking a little bare in some places, but I've taken care of all of my overlapping clip art. So now I can come in with some of my cotton candy, and we can move that guy. We don't need him right now. Move in candy corn, I mean. Bring in some candy corn. And this also helps to add in some color where we might need it. So let's see. So we can just create duplicates of these. And I like busy patterns, but that may not be your thing. And if it's not, that's okay. You don't have to fill in every single area if you're more of a minimalist designer. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I feel like my area is filled in. Now, some people like to have their clip art all facing different ways, especially if you're going to print this, I don't know, maybe you're going to use this for printing out on a sheet of vinyl so you can cut it, or maybe you're designing this because you want it on fabric. That way you're not restricted to only looking at it in this direction. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so say we're happy with that. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I may feel a little bit differently. It'll depend on if you want a white background or not. So I'm a really big fan of light colored seamless backgrounds. And the good news is that you can, especially gray, you can do that with just about any background pattern. So I'm going to go to File and Merge. And let's see, I scored some, these are actually red, white, and blue papers. All right, but I'm going to focus on the pattern. I just want to find a pattern that I like. Let's do this one here. Now the good thing is this is already seamless for us. So I don't really have to do a whole lot because it's just going to be the background. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this image effects panel and I'm going to turn it black and white. Okay, and then let's send it to back. Now that's a little busy for me. So I will come over here. Let's see the fill panel. Let's play with the transparency a little bit. That'll lighten it up. Okay, so that looks a little better. If you want it a little bit lighter, you can. It's completely up to you. But let's see, not too light. Okay, so let's stop there. Let's assume that we're completely happy with this. This is what we want to do. So now to test it out, I'm going to go to File and Save As. Now I can save this anywhere I want. I'm just going to throw it back into my downloads. Now I have the business edition, so I can save in any of these formats. I'm going to save as a JPEG, and I will just simply call this Halloween Sweet Treats pattern. And I am going to increase the pixels all the way up. Now this will take a minute just because, we are working with a lot of graphics, but don't worry, as soon as this gets done, we can simply go to File and Open. We're just going to open a brand new window, and I'm going to select this pattern that I just created. So once this opens, we want to size it down a little bit. I did open pretty big because we saved it pretty big. Let's just go to 6 inches, and we'll bring it front and center. You can make it a little bit larger if you want. What we want to focus on, now I'm going to use that duplicate again. Duplicate to the right, duplicate down, and duplicate to the left. And we just want to go over our seams. So let's zoom in on those. And we want to make sure that we don't have anything weird going on in the places where we have the overlapping clip art. And ladies and gentlemen, I do not see any issues at all. So that is pretty exciting. Now that was up and down, so let's check left to right. Let's click off of it, there we go. And from left to right, I do not see any either. So if this was the idea that I had in mind, then I'm really happy with it. Now, this is also useful, zoom out, and you may be able to identify some areas, especially close to the edge, is harder to see what's going to fill in. So like you kind of have a little bit of open space here that you could fill in if you wanted. But really, it's not that it needs to be filled in. It's just you're really busy right through this area. So completely up to you. You don't have to fill that in, but you could, or you could just drop some of your clip art down. But that's it. That's all you need to do to create a seamless pattern in Silhouette Studio.
So, have you created your own seamless pattern yet? Did you follow along with the video? In reality, it's not a hard concept. It's all about wrapping your brain around how to split those clip art images and get them on both sides of the paper. Now, you can technically create a seamless pattern without putting anything up against the border, but this is a way to really fully embrace what it means to create a seamless pattern. So I'm really excited that you guys joined me today. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to say hi, make sure you put those down there in the comment area, because I do come back and check in with you guys. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we always have a lot of great tutorials for you right around the corner. So thanks guys, I really appreciate it again, and we will see you next time.